Welcome back to Chat with Jessica. It has been a while since I have recorded anything, and it's just been so busy, and I needed to make the time, but my mindset would tell me we don't have the energy, we don't have the time, we don't have what we want to share or talk about. So, as I'm sitting here thinking about the new year, and hopefully you are also thinking about the new year, I don't really like to set goals per se. I'm more of a person who thinks about intention and living with purpose on a daily basis because I think the biggest thing is really learning what habits serve you and what habits do not serve you. And it all begins with regulating your nervous system as well as learning to control your thoughts, or at least learning how to manage those thoughts and how to really focus on what you want to do intentionally and purposefully every single day. A lot of the times we let our mind and our emotions deter us and take us, excuse me, from where we want to really go and what we want to do with our life. And we think about the grand picture. And I was actually thinking about this myself as I was approaching the new year. I'm like, gosh, I have so many things that I want to do or that I want to accomplish. And my mind started really starting to feel very overwhelmed. And I thought, how am I going to do all of this? How will I achieve all of this? How will I accomplish all of this? And it really started to kind of spiral down, like, will I have the time? Will I have the energy? Like, how will I do that? The money, all of these different things that kept coming up in my thoughts. And I thought, well, if I'm seeing the big picture, I'm going to feel overwhelmed and I'm going to see like all the roadblocks, and the voice inside of me kept telling me, like, you may not be able to do that. How will you do that? What if it doesn't do what you want or how you expect it to be? And I then had to stop myself. And I think that's the number one thing that I would recommend when looking at your year or thinking about your year is how aware are you of your, excuse me, how aware are you of your thoughts? How aware are you of your habits? How aware are you of the way you see yourself or the things that you want for your life? And it all begins in the mindset and the nervous system. So, what does that mean? If you limit yourself and you believe that you can't or you can, you will always prove yourself that exact thought. Now, is it going to be how you want it to be? Is it going to go the way that you want it to go? Probably not. There's going to be some roadblocks, there's going to be some challenges, there's going to be feelings showing up that maybe you don't want to feel. Maybe you've avoided, maybe you suppress, maybe you just don't want to talk about it or face them. And I totally can relate with that. As I'm starting to think about my business goals, my family goals, my personal goals, my health goals, all of those different goals, I'm starting to realize that sometimes I block myself or self sabotage with what I want to do because I'm thinking about the bigger picture, or I'm thinking about how am I going to do that. Yes, it's important to have a plan in place, but I think the biggest and most important thing is starting, like I said, with your mindset as well as starting with your habits on a daily basis. What are you doing? What are you thinking? How are you talking to yourself? What are you praying about? What is it that you really want to feel every single day? And not every day is going to be how you want it or what you want to feel. There's going to be people that may trigger you. There's going to be situations and circumstances that are going to be completely out of your control and may avoid or maybe stop you from where you're going. But I don't want that to be I want to quit. This isn't working for me. I don't want to do this. Depending on what it is that you're trying to work on. Let's say that you are trying to work on being healthier, physically and emotionally as well, because they definitely go hand in hand. And if you are saying, I want to be able to, lose this amount of weight, or I want to start going to the gym 6 days a week, and you don't go to the gym not even once a week, that in itself already is setting you up for I believe failure because you're doing something that is not sustainable instead of building up to it those small habits. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I'm going to walk 3 to 4 times a week. And starting being able to start small, and whether it's exercising, whether it's at the gym, it's yoga, it's Pilates, whatever the workout you're doing or the type of movement, start slow and start with doing it in small increments. Because if you're trying to tackle the way you eat and the amount of water you drink and the amount of steps you take and having the exercise routine that you're looking for, it may be overwhelming. So start focusing on doing little things. If you don't drink any water right now, make it a goal to drink 2 bottles of water per day. If you don't exercise at all, make it a goal to go twice a week, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, starting slow, starting small. If you have a really hard time with people pleasing tendencies, start realizing, okay, what is one thing that I know I need to say no to or speak up about to help me just feel what I need to feel and show me that it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. And it was something that I know I needed to do to propel me into who I want to become. So, by allowing yourself to do small things, another example would be sleeping. You may want to get better sleep. What are you doing before you go to bed? What are you consuming? What are you reading? Are you on your screen? Are you going to sleep super late because something is keeping you up? And it's setting an alarm. Maybe it's setting the alarm on your phone and telling you it's bedtime and putting that phone somewhere where you don't reach it, where you don't have access to it. Being able to be more present with your family, really putting things away, such as your phone or your business ideas or your worries, or other things that are consuming you from being in the present moment. I'm not always the greatest when it comes to playing with my kids, but something that I've noticed is I make that time, even if it's just 30 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes, I make that a point. I have an Alexa, so Alexa is like my biggest friend in the house. And I set up an alarm for 15, 30 minutes to sit down and be with my kids, to sit down and play with them and really be in the present moment. And it allows me to let go of everything else that I need to, or that I feel like I need to be doing or I should be doing. And it makes me want to be there because I'm enjoying the present moment, because I'm allowing myself to detach from everything else and focus on being present with my children. The other thing that I really like practicing a lot with my kids, or doing, I should say, is being, it's a lifestyle, and being able to do it, incorporate it on a daily basis, is reading our Bible stories. My son is 8, so he will read the Bible stories, or my husband or I, and we incorporate that every single night. And there's short little pages that we can read, and it has questions, and we discuss them and talk about them. And my daughter, who is 4, loves taking the lead in prayer. So we pray every single night together as a family, and we read the Bible stories as a family. So it's incorporating those non negotiables. Like, this for me is a non negotiable. I don't set up client appointments. I don't do meetings. I don't do laundry. I don't do anything in that time because I know this is a non negotiable for me. I also, for this past year in 2023, I hired a trainer to help me get out of my comfort zone and help me be more strong, physically stronger. And that commitment and that accountability has truly changed the way that I see myself and the way that I see the gym. I would show up on the days that I didn't even want to. The days, there were moments where I was like, I really don't feel like working out. This is not my thing. I don't want to do this. But I knew having someone there hold me accountable and allowing myself to say, yeah, this is where the discipline part comes in. This is where the growth part comes in. This is where the hard work comes in. The consistency, the discipline, and the accountability kept me going. I showed up to my sessions. I made time when I didn't go to the gym, made time at home to move my body. Whether it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I made time to move my body. I also did a really good job about making sure that I stayed consistent with my steps. So a lot of the times I've heard people, or I've heard professionals say like at least 7,000 steps. So maybe you need to start off with 5,000, 7,000 steps. I strive to at least do 10,000. If I do more, that's great. But my goal is always at least 10,000 steps. And it seems like a lot at first, but if you start seeing it and doing it, like once you start really seeing that you can do it, and it's a thought in your mind of like, oh, I need to move my body. I need to reach this goal of 10,000 or 7,000, whatever your goal is of steps. It motivates you to keep your body moving. Even if it's, playing with your kids, if it's going for a walk outside, if it's moving back and forth in your house, because I would do that too. I would be walking around the house just to get those steps in. I would start doing jumping jacks, doing fun things with my kids to get that movement in, because movement is such great medicine, and it's one thing that we really don't think about. But sitting down and not having the blood flow, not moving, really causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of less energy, a lot of foggy memory. Like when we don't move our body, it doesn't help us in any way. So just being able to focus on what it is that you want to do in small increments. What can you change? Are you drinking pop? If so, can you replace that with something better? Sparkling water, maybe just a little bit of flavored water, like something else. If you're drinking, pop, maybe you are spending money on lunch outside of work. How can you pack your lunch, make easy, healthier lunch snacks and lunch, pack your lunch so that you can make that transition from going out to lunch to making your lunch and packing your lunch and your snacks, and do things and pack things that you really do like. Don't pack things just because they're healthy and you don't like them. There are healthy snacks and healthy lunches and easy packaged things that you could make or that you could put together to help you be more accountable and healthier. I really like tuna, so we will make tuna, or I'll take my packets of tuna, and or I will make a lot of chicken and I will take that with me and either put them in a wrap, or I'll put them in a salad, or just by itself. We love making tinga. It's a Mexican meal, and we love making tinga. I can eat that by itself all day long. So it's high in protein, and it's really focusing on the amount of protein you're eating that I think is so beneficial, that will help you. So again, going back to what it is that you want to start doing, what do you want to stop doing, but reminding yourself it all starts with your mindset and regulating your nervous system. If you feel anxious, if you feel worried, if you feel discomfort, it depends on what it is that you are doing that's causing that. Is it because it's not something that you're used to, but it's going to lead you to a better life? Is it something that's allowing you to grow as a person, to heal, to reframe your thoughts, to rewire your brain? Because our brain is incredibly amazing. Our brain and our bodies are capable of doing so much more than we give ourselves credit for, or than that we believe. Could it be a podcast allowing you every day in the morning, on your walk, on your lunch break, after work, driving home, wherever it is, listening to a podcast that helps you fill your brain and teach your brain with more helpful information, more educational information? Sometimes we just need to hear something so totally different from someone else, a different perspective, allowing ourselves to really sit and ponder with like, okay, that's what I was thinking, but now that I hear it from someone else who has maybe done it or who has experience with it, it really shows me that I can actually do something different, and I can actually change my life by making those small changes on my everyday life. I had a friend of mine who had shared that her word for the year was discipline. And I always think about when life starts getting in the way, because it will. Life will start getting in the way. Life will start being, super busy. You'll start feeling overwhelmed, tired. All these different things are going to come your way. Sports with kids, All these different things are going to come your way. But when you go back to the word that you are choosing for your year, and I love that more than I love goals. I love the word, just going back to it. She chose discipline. Remind yourself of the way that the things that you're thinking now, the goals that you have now, the ambition you have now. And when life gets in the way, go back to that word, discipline. When you don't want to go to do a workout, when you don't want to show up on social media, when you don't want to be patient with your partner, when you don't want to or can't have the mental capacity to discipline your children or to talk to your children, if you don't have the emotional or mental capacity to have a hard conversation and bring something up to someone, if you continue to let somebody else take power and take control over your mind, you also give away so much, right? So discipline, it's the part of you that has to practice every single day how to be more patient, how to let those thoughts go, how to control the overthinking, how to discipline yourself to do things differently, to stop the overthinking, and to let yourself sit with those feelings and sit with those thoughts, and then pick yourself back up and say, no more. I sat with it, I felt it, and now I'm moving on. Now I'm moving forward with the disciplined part of me. For me, my word for the year is surrender. I constantly go back to the word surrender because it really applies to all areas of my life. Surrendering myself to the things that God has told me to do, but sometimes I resist or want to control, and learning to be more patient with my children, more patient with people, more patient with my husband, more patient with myself. Beginning with myself, that is going to be the biggest part, is being patient with myself. So pick a word. That would be my thing, is like pick a word and show yourself every day that word, either on your mirror or on your phone or somewhere you will see it, on your computer, at work, wherever you're at. Come back to that word to help you. Okay, how can I be disciplined, or how can I surrender today in moments where circumstances are hard, challenges come up, or I'm having a hard time trying to change this habit and this thought so that I can regulate my nervous system. Taking deep breaths, allowing yourself some space between you and that person, or you and that situation, before you approach it. So surrendering for me has been the word that I have practiced all of last year, and I want to continue to work on that because I think that is what's helped me be more open, be more vulnerable, being able to lead myself into what God has for me, even if I don't really see it yet, or maybe I don't believe it yet, but allowing God to do his work while I continue to surrender and take action towards the life and the person that I want to be, the mother, the woman, the CEO, the Christian, everything that I want to be. It's surrendering myself and opening my heart and opening my mind to what God has in store for me. So this 2024, I hope that you have learned something from this by allowing yourself to really focus on a word and the small habits that need to be consistent and need to be accountable, that you need to be accountable or to be held responsible in a way that isn't going to be detrimental, in a way that's not going to be detrimental to your mental health, but more so, this is hard, it's going to take a while, but I'm going to focus on the right now, being in the present moment. How will I feel after I play with my kids? How will I feel after talking to my mom? How will I feel after going to the gym? How will I feel when I stay consistent on drinking water, making those 10,000 steps? How will I feel? All of these little deposits into your confidence bowl will build you into knowing you can do hard things. And it's the discipline and the consistency and the accountability and the surrendering that will continue to allow you to show up on the days that you may not want to, and some days you might have to rest, and that is okay. Allowing your body to rest is so productive, and it's probably something that you need to practice as well, because I know I have a hard time with resting. My husband has a hard time with resting, and I notice it because my mind wanders and wants to do other things. So focus on a word, focus on doing small habits, things that you can do in those small, consistent daily habits. And I don't always recommend going big because it really is not sustainable in my opinion and in my experience as well. So, welcome again. Thank you so much for showing up to listen to this episode. I will be doing more of these in this, this 2024. My goal is to make more time for that. So, I hope that you enjoy it. If you have anything that you want to share with me, any questions, anything that you want to focus on or that you want to ask me, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can contact me or get a hold of me or follow me on social media at A Thriving Mind on Instagram, or Counselor Jessica and A Thriving Mind by Jessica on Facebook. So I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to serving you, and I wish you nothing but a wonderful first week of the year.